Alright, what's up people? Welcome back. As you guys know, I updated the channel to where, well, I didn't update, I created a new channel. So all my travel vlogs and stuff like that is going to be on the Nails Next Door. This one is going to be just our DIY project we do around the house as we turn our cookie cutter, build a great house into our own little piece of paradise, both inside and outside. So the videos are still on the Nails Next Door channel, they're going to stay there. But one of the videos you guys are going to see is that I changed this out last year. I actually extended the mulch beds. I added a sprinkler system. And I did that all manually. And I added these plants. Also what I did, which I don't think I captured on the video, is I did a walkway around the back. I did this by myself, so it's not really perfect. So excuse any imperfections you guys might see. But I did it pretty much 10 feet at a time. That's why all the breaks are where they are, is because I did it 10 feet at a time, mixing by hands. 80-pound bags of concrete that I went to store, got in bunches, loaded in a car, brought home, used a wheelbarrow, shovel, here we go. So I did that, went to the back, filled it up with gravel on the side to kind of fill in the gap. And I did the same thing here, and I kind of did this to kind of like pre-plan. And so I went ahead, I forgot what these plants are called, but I wanted some evergreen bushes to kind of stay here permanently. So those are here, and then I have the crepe myrtles because I heard they grow pretty fast. So we're gonna see, and I bought them when they were babies because a lot of these plants that I have planted, I bought when they were really young, and if they are bigger, it's because I bought them on clearance. Like I bought that guy on clearance, and I'm pretty much like, I'm okay, especially if you get it from Lowe's and it's like an evergreen and you buy it on clearance. They will actually still treat it as the regular normal warranty. So I was like, hey, give it a shot. But what I did here was I kind of laid this out already, but what I'm going to do now is the same thing I hear. I use landscaping timber, painted it to match the fence. Cheap, you know, this is the cheapest way to do it. I wanted a 4x4 real post, square, rectangle, I guess, rectangle, to kind of do it, to give more mono look. Those 4x4 posts were expensive. These were really cheap in comparison. And so what I did was last year I kind of just left this off and I used regular like landscape edging to kind of like keep it in place. But what I'm going to do now, because I don't want to have to mow this spot, one of the main reasons I did this, not because also to make it nice, but a lot of times when it rained, a lot of mud comes here because it's the meeting point of the two houses. It's hard to bring the trash can back and forth. So cement was the best way to do it. I could walk straight to the back. I'm gonna make sure this whole area, I don't have to worry about any type of maintenance. So, well, except mulch. So I'm gonna build new mulch beds just like this on this side. So I went to Lowe's and I bought 12 8-foot sections of landscaping timber. These were like $5 a pop, give or take. So I mean, it was actually fairly affordable. Because I was also thinking, because we had a tornado come through that took down my little fence that I had to block the trash cans that used to be right here. But this bush actually grew very well, so it blocks the trash cans pretty good. And I was going to move the fence up to like right here. And I was like, you know what? It's useless because that's going to be fenced in. Doesn't really make a difference. So instead, I'm just going to use the landscape timber, box this bad boy in, and then go get some mulch. Another thing that you guys are going to check on a later video, because I'm going to do this also, is I'm building a deck off the shed. Honestly, the only real purpose it serves is because I was going to use sand there and like pavers, but I was like, that's too much work. So like, once I move this lawnmower out of the way, I'm going to build the deck off, more only for aesthetics more than anything else. Life is good. These guys are actually doing pretty well. I was actually surprised how well they are doing. They're doing real well. I got a bunch of solar power lights for the shed, which I'll show you guys later. And as you guys see, I used the landscape timber all over the backyard to box off the different mulch beds. I am going to come back this year. I saved a bunch of the landscape edging, the digless landscape edging that I had around when I first moved in, that I first did when I was trying to figure things out and I wanted a temporary solution. I saved all of it, and what I'm going to do is actually put 6 inches away from the edge, landscaped edging, and then I'm gonna fill it with gravel, because right now when I mow and edge, it kind of keeps scrubbing against the wood, and I always gotta keep painting it back and forth. So what I'm gonna do is, that way I can keep it clean, it'll be a crisp line at all times, and I don't have to worry about it. The fence I painted, what, 3 years ago? I'm gonna pressure wash it down. I might paint it in the next couple years again, but we'll see. You'll see how it all goes. But yeah, shed, that was fantastic. And I bought a bunch of solar power lights which light up the backyard. So we're gonna have fun with this. A pretty straightforward process. I only got enough to do the first layer because I stored it inside the Telluride and I didn't want to overstack it and then tip over and scratch something. So I just got enough for the first layer, which is good enough for now. That's the base. And so it's pretty simple. These are 8-foot sections. What I'm going to do is measure out 4 feet in the middle, cut one in the middle, and that'll work out good because then I'll use that to do the staggering the next row. What I'm going to do though is, for this first row that starts here on the bottom, I'm gonna start with a half a section so that the next section above, the finishing section, is a full long piece starting from this fence. I like that because right here behind this fence board is actually the fence post, and that's in cement. So I'm gonna drill my screw on a diagonal into that board to kind of make it stable. Same thing in that corner as well. Life is good, and make the run go that way. That back one, I'm actually going to start with a long piece to make life a little easier, and then keep going down the floor. So first step is simple. Cut this bad boy in half. Then I can use this extra half in the next row. So it works out pretty well. Screw one side in, so I'm gonna start with the inside first, and then I'm gonna use my tape measure to measure the distance so that the back side stays straight. Might have a little bit of an angle because, you know, it's not perfect, but I just need it to get as nice as possible because I'm gonna paint it, match the fence, fill it up with some topsoil and some mulch, and life should be good. Okay, so this is current status right now. I've made it a little bit above halfway on the first row. What I've been doing is just making sure it's level. I've been using I don't know what this type of I just call it a square shovel. And I've actually gotten pretty good with using that to like level ground out when I did the pool. So I'm pretty good at eyeballing and kind of seeing what's level. So I'm kind of just coming and scraping and kind of tilting this shovel on an angle to kind of get what I need. I also use scrap wood that I cut into small little triangles so that I could help wedge pieces in place, because like wood, not every piece is perfectly straight. So what I'm doing is I'm using the scrap wood. I know it's not pressure treated, so it's going to disintegrate, but I don't really care. What I needed to do is just hold it in spot for a little while I kind of like get the wood straight, and then I use deck screws to actually anchor 2 pieces together. So once I have it anchored in the right spot, I'm good. And then bada bing bada boom. Okay, so the one thing about landscaping timber, which I was kind of like on a fence of using, because when I was looking on YouTube, Pinterest, it looked kind of cheap the way people set it up. So I tried to do like an incorporation of like the timber and other things. So I did this to kind of cut around it. I got to clean that all out because it's been raining a lot this season. I got to fix this. But see here, then I used the 4x4s. So what I have now is I had a leftover piece of 4x4 post that I kind of cut and saved when I took down the fence that blew over during the tornado thing we had. And what I'm going to do is I cut the width of how wide it's going to be like this. so that it sits on top of both sides. And the other one is shorter because what's going to end up happening once it's all said and done, I'm going to use this and the bottom layer like that, and then they'll have another one of these on the other side, and then to cap it off I'll have this to finish it like this, so that when you look from the outside, yeah, this is going to be here, but you know, I'll be able to drill all these together to kind of have like a nice tight structure. But when it's all said and done, it'll have kind of look like this. I guess let me get a better like scope of what it'll look like. I'll put one of these. So ideally, once it's all said and done, it'll look like this, where this is the end piece. So I'm kind of making this up as I go. I have no formal training on this. I'm just kind of like, oh, I got these pieces. I want to look a little bit more finished, but it's going to come on the other side of this tree. I'm going to level it out to that piece. It's going to be straight, and life's going to be good, ideally. This is what it'll look like. I use this guide to make sure it's leveled with the edge of that. Oh yeah, coming together. Pretty much done for the day. I actually changed my mind instead of waiting until next week to get a second load. It was still early for the day. I went and got an extra load today, and I finished it out, and everything screwed down. Now the plan is to leave it like this for about a week, let it acclimate to the weather as best it can. I know at Lowe's was outside, but it's supposed to rain a lot this week, so let it get a chance to get some rain, dry out, do its thing. And then next week I'll paint it. Then in about a month I'm gonna get some mulch for it, mulch it, and ideally we should be good. I gotta get some landscape tarp, but also decide if I'm gonna put extra plants in the middle there, which I think I am. I just need to know what I'm gonna put, so we'll figure this out. Got both sides done and the back side just in time, because my guys are starting to sprout some leaves. But yep, we're good. I also planted some canna lilies in the middle, and we'll see how well they do, because I just moved them from the back of the house and I had a whole bunch, so I was like, let me just spread some in here. If they don't work, then I'll change them out to something else. But at least it'll give something tall for the time being to help block this fence. I think it came out pretty good though. So now I gotta get some mulch, and life should be good.